Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Spooky Japan podcast. Hoping everyone is doing well. Irene is trying to stay alive this morning. Look, and she has her coffee now, so hopefully she'll be good soon.
I'm
Brian, how are you
terrible.
doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
That's good to hear. So, Brian, for our listeners out there who may not be familiar with who you are, go ahead and introduce yourself to them.
My name's Brian J. Smith. I live in Chansey, Ohio. I'm an Ohio native. I've lived here most of my life. I'm the author of 10 novels. Most recently, I wrote a short story collection called Strange Discovery and Other Strange Discoveries. It is my second collection. I enjoy doing this one. It is published by Unveiling Nightmares, and it is a short story collection that features 17 short stories of weird, dark, and macabre tales in the vein of Creepshow and Twilight Zone.
Sounds interesting. What is your inspiration behind the book? What also got you into writing these kind of books?
Well, I grew up in the '80s. I was there when Freddie and Jason first started becoming popular, when they first started coming up on the movie screens, and I grew up with that kind of stuff, with horror in general, and mostly it was like slasher movies or ghost stories, or mostly TV anthology shows. And I've always been a fan of short story collections, whether they're multiple authors or they're just by one author in general. The first short story collection I ever read was Night Shift by Stephen King, and I was 12. I loved it. I treasured that book for a long, long time, and I always wanted to pay homage to what Stephen King has done for writers in general, and I've always wanted to continue the trend of short story collections. To me, they're like 30-minute episodes. You have 30 minutes to tell a story, and there's always a beginning, middle, and end, and usually there's a twist at the end, or there's like a lesson to be learned. But with these stories, I wanted to go a little darker. I wanted to leave a foreboding sense of like impending doom behind. So this was completely different from my other collection, my first collection, Dark Avenues.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. I know with the paranormal community, that's something that we love is horror stories or horror movies. So it's definitely the genre that we seem to be loving. That's also why I want you on the podcast, because it's something that we always say we're into everything spooky. So then I'm like, when we can get something different on a podcast, even like a writer, just like on the books that you do, that's also great too.
It's kind of interesting, um, how some of these spooky stories come out to be somewhere. The truth came out somewhere, right? About it,
Yeah.
and how they got their inspiration from certain places that are really creepy.
Oh yeah, we have a few haunted places around, and in Ohio. We have a how can I say this? There's a road, I think I may be saying this wrong, called Red Rock.
Mm-hmm.
And when you first enter, there's a big giant boulder and there's a
Mm-hmm.
stick. And if the stick is sideways, you can
Mm-hmm.
enter. But if it's not, they tell you not to.
That's crazy.
Mm.
And there's been some crazy things, like just stories in general from what I've heard happen. My half brother and
Mm-hmm.
one of his friends went joyriding through there,
Mm.
and he had to urinate,
Mm-hmm.
and his friend parked in front of this along the drainage ditch of this house. There was no car, there was no lights. It looked like nobody had hardly lived in there for years.
Mm.
And he said, I stood there for 2 minutes, and just before I got done,
Mm-hmm.
he said the lights came on and I heard a blood curdling scream.
Oh God! Like, oh God! Imagine
Yeah.
How fast you'd finish, right? How fast you'd finish, like,
Yeah.
or or
Yeah.
or when you have to go, it disappears someplace, right? You don't know where it went to.
There's a there's been all kinds of stories back there. From what I've heard, there used to be an insane asylum for juvenile
gosh.
delinquents
Yeah.
that burnt down back there.
Ooh.
One of the
Ooh.
kids set it on fire and killed
Oh.
everybody inside.
Ooh. Yeah. That's creepy. Imagine that, right?
Yeah,
Imagine just going there, right?
and you could just hear all the voices. You probably hear the children laughing.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I know. We definitely would go in there. We'd probably hear it. So,
Yeah.
but I love it when places like that are an inspiration for a story, just because
Yeah.
an urban legend
Yeah.
really does make a good start to a good horror story.
Yeah. And how much of it is true that came out of it, right? And how much of it is like what happened, right? And who did it,
Yeah,
and what happened to the people, and what happened to the kids, and yeah. I mean, yes, that's curdling. Yes, but it's got to be one of the most hard places to even see, right? Or even
yeah,
visit, or even just look at it. Like some
yeah,
places, just looking at it, it gives you the willies, right?
yeah. Like I
Up
live
it.
in Chansey. I live
Mm-hmm.
7 miles from Athens, and I don't know if you guys have heard of the Ridges.
I
I think
haven't.
so.
The Ridges is in Athens, in the campus of the Ohio University. It's
Mm-hmm.
right up on a hill, and that
Mm.
was one of the most haunted insane asylums ever. Like
Oh
some
god.
really bad stuff went down there,
Oh gosh.
and
That.
they literally, I think they're going to turn it into a bed and breakfast.
Oh god. There's one place you should visit in Austin, Texas. It's called the Emily Morgan Hotel, right? And I think uh, one of the big hotel chains owns it, right? And it was an insane asylum, and it turned out into like a couple $100 a night hotel.
Huh?
But the
And
gimmick sells itself. Oldest
yeah,
estate asylum, stay here for the night. Especially
yeah,
people like us.
Yeah,
We'll stay there even though it is not the greatest place in the area, just for that
no,
reason.
yeah.
no.
I don't. I admire people who go in there, but myself, I'd be like, okay, just here to say hi. Don't want to ruffle anybody's feathers.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm friendly. Hopefully you are too.
I'm just here to say hi, see how you doing. You know.
Yeah. The weirdest thing about that place is that the morgue is where the swimming pool is now. And yeah,
Wow.
imagine just right.
Oh, speaking of that, I watched Poltergeist the other day.
Mm-hmm.
It got me thinking about the swimming pool scene.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's gotta be creepy.
And there's a rumor that they either used, one person saying they used real skeletons, one
Yeah, I
person
heard
saying
that.
they used fake ones.
I heard from so many people it was real just because prop wise, I guess. I guess the fake ones look too fake for them. I guess also something about cost for some reason real ones were less than
Yeah, and
fake
they
ones,
used
which is
yeah,
so weird to think.
and they use real caskets too. I heard that also, right?
Whew. Really? Huh?
Yeah,
Well,
and
that's the way to make it real.
apparently Joe Beth Williams, who starred as a mother, there's a lot of stuff that went on the the production of making that movie, she won't even talk about it.
Yeah.
And it's really weird how the two daughters, they both died right
Excuse me. Yeah.
afterwards, and you can't. Yeah, what happened, right?
It's
Why
just
did?
bad luck.
Yeah,
It's one of those movies that was just cursed. Like, I think Heather O'Rourke, the youngest one, she made it to the third Poltergeist, and
yeah,
she died while they were making it.
yeah,
But the oldest sister, I think she ended up getting shot by her boyfriend or something like that.
yeah,
Oh yeah, I
yeah,
thought I heard something like that. I couldn't
yeah,
Yeah.
remember.
yeah. Isn't that kind of freaky when you make something a movie like any paranormal movie, right? And how they call it cursed. They call it one of the most cursed movies that they ever made,
Yeah.
Hollywood ever made, right? It's just tragic how what happened to some of the actors, actresses, what happened to them afterwards.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they don't even talk about. They won't even talk about it, right?
They won't say much. And there was even rumor that either Toby Hooper was directing or Steven Spielberg was the one doing the directing. One of those two were doing it.
Mm-hmm.
It was like they were kind of like, you know, fighting heads. They were like, well, we should do it like this. No, let's do it like this. Because I
Mm.
guess it was going to be way darker than what we got.
Mm.
And Steven Spielberg was like, hey, this is supposed to be a supernatural haunting. We
Mm-hmm.
can't go this far with it. That's
Mm.
that's that's just what I heard. I haven't heard any like proof to back it up, but they're like those two were constantly, I'm going to film this. No, I'm going to film it. No, I'm going to do it. So one of
Mm.
those two were directing,
Mm-hmm.
but yet Tobe Hooper's name still ended up in the credits as the director.
Wow.
Yeah,
But it was one of the most creepiest movies ever made, right?
Yeah.
yeah,
And it's still creepy even to this day, even if you watch it, right?
yeah.
Mm. Like I watched it once. I don't know if I can watch it again. No thanks. That's you can watch every other movie, right? But that's the only one that I refuse to watch ever again. It's just
I remember watching it when I was like 6,
mm-hmm.
5 or 6. I think it was like 6.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I
And
was gonna
my
ask
brother,
you if you always been in horror movies. So it sounds like you have always been in horror movies.
oh yeah, like I said, I grew up with Freddie and Jason.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up watching Tales from the Dark Side.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think I was like 12 or 13 when Tales from the Crypt came out.
Mm-hmm.
I love that show.
Oh, that was great. That was
I
great,
grew up
right?
on Are You Afraid of the Dark? It's funny 'cause at the same time, I think My Little Ponies or something was also running on another channel. So
Yeah.
all my friends were watching like My Little Pony, and there I am, that weird girl watching Are You Afraid of the Dark? So
Yeah.
none of my friends could relate to me Monday at the playground when they're talking about the episode. I'm like, yeah, well, I watch Are You Afraid of the Dark? So
And I watched Omened. What else? What else was there, right? Rosemary's Baby,
Yeah.
Burnt Offerings, right?
The Exorcist.
Yeah, yeah, yep.
That was wow. That was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I think my parents let us watch that when I was 8,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just sitting there like watching it, and I could see like my brother. He's kind of like getting tense because he, that's one of his favorites now. And I could see
Mm-hmm.
him kind of getting tense and just like, oh boy, something. He was getting like scared. My sister was like pulling the blankets up around her throat like this, and I'm just like, oh,
Sorry,
she's throwing up.
the cat just you dumb animal. Bad timing. Okay.
And I'm just sitting there like, oh, she's throwing up. Cool.
It gets really bad when you have to go to the bathroom and you need somebody to walk with you, right?
My mom used to tell me because my dad went to go see Jaws when it first came out.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
they sat the third row.
Mm-hmm.
And that part where Ben Gardner's head came down of the boat,
Mm-hmm.
my mom said, she goes, I swear to God, to this day, my popcorn and my punch went 3 rows back. I got that scared.
Oh gosh. Uh, you know, uh, I mean, I mean, imagine woofing your cookies because you like, like no thanks. After I saw that movie, and then I remembered it so well, and then when I came to Japan, we're all gonna go swimming in the ocean. I said, "You what?" I thought, no, and I remembered that scene. I said, "Oh shit,
Yeah.
hell no!" Right?
My parents dragged us to California,
Mm-hmm.
and we went to the ocean probably about 4 times a week.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. You just stand there and you just like jellyfish
Mm-hmm.
just swimming. I mean, everywhere. And it was, I mean, as long as you didn't move,
Mm-hmm.
they didn't bite you. They didn't sting you. You just had to like
Mm-hmm.
just kind of freeze and just, okay,
Mm-hmm.
this is cool. Yeah. I mean, as
So
long as you didn't make any sudden moves,
yeah,
they were fine.
here in this country, um, they have months where you can go swimming and months where you can't go swimming. I think July. I think July you're not allowed to go swimming till August.
Wow.
Yeah, because
Huh.
they got so many jellyfish in the water,
Oh, that's
especially
what it is. Yeah, I remember seeing pictures,
yeah
obviously, of all the jellyfish around
yeah.
all
That's why
the
you're not allowed to go
coast.
swimming. Yeah,
Because
apparently
it's the hottest months too. But yeah,
yeah,
I
I'm
can
not.
imagine.
and also that it depends on how warm the water is,
Yeah.
depending on how bad it is, right? If the water's really warm, it gets really bad out there, and you can't go swimming in the water. So they
I
put
can
out a
imagine.
sign where you can't go swimming because the jellyfish population is just so bad, and they can't do anything about it, right? Because they're one of the biggest predators, and they multiply like you wouldn't believe either too. And yeah,
Yeah,
no other animal, well, no other fish in the ocean will eat jellyfish, right? So they just multiply like you wouldn't believe them. And they're one of the worst predators. They're just one of the worst species ever evolved
Yeah.
naturally, and they hurt a lot of people too.
Oh,
My son got
we've had an alligator sighting here in actually Ohio.
oh
really,
wow,
Yes.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
oh
In
wow,
a lake. I would say it was somewhere like the the northern part of Ohio, like
mm,
the northeast tip of Ohio, somewhere around there. I could be wrong, but somebody was fishing. All of a sudden, it just reared it. Its head just sat up.
I think I heard something about that, but didn't someone originally have it as a pet and brought it up
Um,
there?
and
some
they
of
let
them,
it go.
some you can actually have certain. You could have certain zoo animals as pets,
Mm-hmm.
Which is crazy.
but there was a guy. He had some like really bad problems, and there was an incident here in Ohio where he committed suicide, but before he did, he unlocked the gate and let all
Yeah,
the
that's what I
animals
was gonna
out.
say. There's no way a alligator or crocodile or anything would survive
They
No.
doing
had they had to get Jack Hanna from the Columbus Zoo That man had to wrangle a bear, panther, 2 tigers, crocodile, an alligator. I mean, you talk about like maybe 7 or 8 different zoo animals just broke out of this guy's pen all over Ohio.
Oh my God! Imagine.
I recently saw something where they're saying it's actually easier than you think to own a tiger or something like that in the United States.
Yeah,
Because they're just like, if they take away like the rednecks' guns, they're gonna get tigers. They're not
Yeah.
gonna need the guns.
no. I've always like teased about people going like, I'm just going to get a panther in my backyard so people stop trying to steal stuff off my, and nobody will come around if they see that walking around. No one's going to be like, oh, I'm going to go for that. Oh, you know what? I'm going to go get my own cans. I'm going to go get my own pop cans.
You know what? Maybe I don't want to break in this house. Good.
Just a second. Polly, hold on. Dinner's gonna be right around the corner. Go get it. Yeah.
I used to own a pet wolf, and a lot of people didn't think that was legal. Like, no,
Wow.
it's legal. They know about it.
Oh yeah.
I didn't go to the wild to get it. I actually bought it off. I actually got it from someone, but they had both wolf parents on site there too. So it was domesticated, but it's
Huh.
still a pure wolf.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
He could say, just a second. Din's gonna be right here. Like, go and get it.
And you can, and I guess some of them are really nice to house animals, like your pet, like your dogs and cats.
Yeah.
Some of them are really nice to them. I'd be like, okay, you cannot eat those 2. Those are your brothers.
But apparently there are people who have lions, captivated lions, and they have Labrador retrievers, and they have other domesticated
If they
dogs.
grow up with them, they're fine. That's
Yeah.
the thing is you got to start them young with them. Cubs. When they're cubs, that's when you want to have if you want to have another pet, you got to make sure that whatever you have is a cub when you get that. So they kind of grow up together. So that cub
Yeah.
knows
Oh, yeah.
this is my friend, this is my sibling. I don't eat this
Yeah.
sibling,
Yeah.
and they become the best of friends.
Oh yeah.
Because I also knew someone who they said one of their ex-boyfriends they owned a bear, but
Mhm.
they owned the bear since they rescued it since something happened to the mother. So they just
True.
kind of they raised it, and it was perfectly legal to have
Huh.
it. So I'm like, there's no way you can pet bear. Like, no,
Mm-mm.
they're allowed to pet bear.
I remember when I was young, there was a bar in Lancaster, Ohio, where I was born at.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
They had this thing there. Every once in a while, it was called Caesar the Wrestling Bear, and you got to pay
I heard
to
about
wrestle this bear.
You gotta be pretty drunk to do that.
Oh, you'd
I'm
have to
sure
be.
some people did.
You'd have to be full of alcohol, by God, to. I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna go fight this bear. It says something about my mother.
You said what?
You want to fight me, you hairy?
You hairy beast, I'm gonna get you, what'd you say about my mom? Like,
But they used to have like plastic cups that you could buy with the Bears logo on it, and it was so awesome. I never got to see it, and I always wanted to, but I never got to see it.
oh well. Maybe you get drunk enough, you can find your own bear.
There is a bar somewhere that not only is it a bar, but it's also a pet adoption center. So
Huh.
they're hoping you get drunk, you get to know this dog. You're gonna take this dog home.
Take this dog home.
Yeah, that's their whole. That's how they adopt the dogs out. Come drink and get to know the dog. Oh, you have a bond? Yeah, go ahead. Fill out this paperwork. Adopt the dog. Bring it home with you. You wake up hungover and you see a dog laying next to you.
That's why I've always liked that meme they have up. It says, "I wouldn't tell you I won the lottery, but there'd be signs."
Yeah.
And it's a full backyard. And there's probably about maybe 15 or 20 dogs back there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, yeah, that's gonna be me. I'm just gonna take all the dogs out of the local dog shelter and just raise them, take them out in the country, and just raise them myself.
uh, uh, there's one thing that you can find on Facebook. It says, "I've had so many cans of cat food and so many cans of whatever," and it's a huge panther, right? It's a mountain lion, right?
Damn.
Or there's another one that is mother has glaucoma and she's got this huge wild animal as a pet in her house, and she can't see where to shoot, right? She adopted this thing in the house because it was hungry. Right, okay.
Oh, I know what you're talking about, where she thought she let her cat in, but it turns out it was actually a raccoon.
Yeah.
So have you guys been any place that's kind of like scared you?
You go ahead, Amanda.
I don't think I've been somewhere that scared me to the point I wouldn't go back yet.
Yeah.
Well, especially like here in Japan, it's different. We can't. I mean, back in the United States, I was able to, book as long as you pay the money, book all the place. You could book the places,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
do a private investigation. You can't do that here.
Ah.
So anything here, I mean, public parks, but as Irene can tell you, there's a lot of parks at night that close their doors. They're saying it's too dangerous to be here at night. And one of the reasons is the spirits may be a little not friendly,
Whoa.
especially around at night. So they're like, you know what? Instead of messing with it, we're just gonna close it up and say you can't be in there.
Yeah.
See, they kept the ridges. They locked it, but a lot of people were going up there and just kind of like investigating, kind of looking around.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think it was a friend of mine or one of my sister's co-workers, one of her former co-workers. They went up there one night and they saw a candle floating in the air next to a window.
Wow.
I'm like, that'd be like, okay, let's go back to the car.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm gonna go and have another brew, right? Because just to forget about what I just saw.
And be like, yeah, let's go back to the car. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the bar.
Yeah. Like we need to forget about what we just saw.
Yeah.
There's a lot of places here that are boarded up, and they have big pylons here that you can't get into because it's so. They're just worried about it hurting the living. Yeah. And there's a lot of places that you can't get into because of that. They condemn it and call it dangerous. I don't know. There's one place I want to go into. It's the cave where 600 samurai warriors unalive themselves. I want to go in that cave. Yeah. It's right next to the shrine that I go to. So, okay, let's go there. I mean, yeah. They said that it's dangerous. By looking at it, you can tell if it's dangerous, how dangerous it is or isn't. You can really see. There are some places that I wouldn't dare go into, but that's one of the places that I want to see. There's a lot of people saying that you can't go to certain places because it's just not wise unless you have some experience with paranormal that you can get into or you can't get into, right?
Yeah.
There are some places that are blocked off after 9 o'clock where you can't get into because it's that bad. Yeah. And there are after 9 o'clock, the chains go up, and you can't get into certain parks after
Huh.
dark.
Some places here in the United States are open, some are locked.
Yeah.
You got to like get permission from the owner, from the groundskeeper.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're gonna have to get permission here if it's haunted. Due to the fact is, in Japan, they don't have any paranormal teams. Basically, we are the paranormal community here
Yeah.
in Japan.
It's just us.
It's just us that are out public about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know there are some people, because some people have brought this up to us. Well, there's some people who wrote books or whatever, tell stories about urban legends, and I'm like, they don't even. So telling urban legends to them is more storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
The paranormal community, especially in the States, consider, well, urban legends, that's part of the paranormal.
Mm-hmm.
I think here, especially now, especially the younger generation, they consider it more storytelling, so they don't really consider it hand in hand with like the paranormal. So that's
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
different. Me and Irene have both reached out to some of these people who wrote books on the urban legends here.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, I won't get a response. She just gets ha ha ha. They don't mess with they don't mess with the paranormal, and they're like they don't want to talk to us. They ignore us because they're like, no, we don't mess with them. Telling
Yeah.
urban legends, that's different. That's storytelling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being in paranormal, nah.
Mm-mm. Like, I'm lucky if I can get a ha 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 out of that, right?
Plus, she at least gets that. I get nothing back. Well,
See,
she also said that.
we got a lot of local legends over here.
Mm.
Okay, cryptids in general.
Yep.
Oh, we have a lot. We have thousands of cryptids, but there's no one here to investigate. So anytime we do get like a cryptid or Bigfoot researcher, we're like, hey, you and your friends should come to Japan. There's absolutely no one has taken the time to research them. You
No.
do this, and I promise you, any information you find out is going to be new and groundbreaking. You're not
And
going to have any
yours.
competition. If you want competition, you're going to have to bring your own.
Yep.
No one's going to be competing with you. No one is going to get in your way.
No.
Like I said, we have thousands, but no one is willing to do any research on them. A
No.
lot of them you might get like a small paragraph on, but
Mhm.
others, we know this, and we've also said this. If we started doing cryptid ones, we would have a lot of cryptids we could do. Unfortunately, there might be like 100 we'd have to go over in one, just because a lot of it might be like this is what it looks like and this is where it's found.
Mhm.
That's it. They don't know
Yep.
anything else. They see this thing and they slowly walk the other way.
Yeah.
Well, see, we've got Mothman over here
Mhm.
in
Yeah.
West Virginia,
Mhm.
Bigfoot, um, Wendigo.
Mhm.
I'm trying to think. Um, I think El Chupacabra, usually
Mhm.
like Texas and Mexico.
Mhm.
Um, trying to think what else we have. We got a lot of them here, and
Mhm.
a lot of, rural areas. Like
Mhm.
I've been to West Virginia,
Mhm.
and they have a Mothman museum.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
They have the Mothman statue.
Yeah,
You
I'm
can
Mhm.
get your
very
picture
familiar with that.
taken, and
Mhm.
it is so neat how they do that. How they kind of pay homage to a local legend. They're not like you kind of think they were threatened by it,
Mhm.
but I mean it was a national tragedy what happened in West
Mhm.
Virginia when that bridge collapsed.
Mm.
And it was, I mean, they you kind of get the feeling that they're not afraid. They're just like, hey, this thing came here, and you know this this happened. I mean, a lot of people lost lives. A
Mhm.
lot of people, you
Mhm.
know.
The Mothman is starting to be seen worldwide, though. Not too long ago, there was a report that the Mothman was seen in South Africa.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's either it can travel, or there's multiple of the species and there's just now worldwide, and now someone else is finally seeing it. Because there's other countries that it's been seen too. So I don't know if it's something that can travel or there's multiple whatever creature the Mothman is.
Yeah.
Oh,
Seems.
Virginia and West Virginia has a bunch of cryptids in there, Eric. That's definitely one thing.
Yeah. Skinwalkers too. They're all over the place, right?
Yeah.
So.
I don't think we have skinwalkers. We don't have the urban legend of skinwalkers here in Japan, do we?
Nope. 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 We got the creepy ticky, but we don't have the
We have other
skinwalker.
creepy ones, so I can't really.
Yeah. Yeah. Ours is really creepy, right?
We have other scary things. Like we don't have mimics.
Nope.
We do have other. We do have other cryptids that can shapeshift, though. But however, they are not. They're considered something different than like actual shapeshifters that America has or
Yeah.
anything America has. It's different. But a lot of them, from my research, can actually how they fool people is they can shapeshift into a beautiful woman.
Yeah. And you gotta watch out, especially if you're a man, because the thing. They want you to come and follow them, right?
Oh yeah, that's why they do come here in Japan. Is this? It's not like in America where it's like come over here. It's come over here.
Yeah. And then good luck in finding yourself tomorrow because you're not gonna be around, right? There's a lot of stuff like that, and a lot of them are women too, who are doing this, who are asking the men to come around. So if you're a man, you're in big trouble. um, a lot of them don't come after women, don't they? They only come after men. So yeah,
There
it's
are some that go after women and children, and they say it's because they're easier targets.
yeah,
There are
very,
some.
but not very many, right?
A lot of them do shapeshift into beautiful women to go after.
Yeah,
I will say
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
There's
like most.
others that prefer to chase after, well, especially kids, because they said
Mhm.
kids are obviously easier because you could just be like, "Hey, come here, kid,"
Yep.
or "I have candy," and they're probably gonna.
Yeah.
They say
Uh,
children is some of them like go after children are easier, and then the second
yeah.
easiest is obviously women to get, chase after to get, and then men. But then there's others who just shapeshift into beautiful women and are ready. By the
Yeah.
time you realize it's too late for you.
Now see over here, we usually got like I I I think I mentioned I wanted to tell you something that happened to me in real life.
Yeah,
Um, we had got back from California and we moved in this split level house.
Mhm.
And this house, the front yard was a steep incline, it was like a grassy incline. I had some pine trees along the back of it, and there was a private drive over to another house. And one night I heard a sound outside of my sister's bedroom. Now, my sister occupied this room.
Mhm.
My two brothers and I occupied the room across the hall.
Mhm.
And of course, it was like hot. Had the windows open,
Mhm.
and I heard this sound, this boom, 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 boom. I'm like, okay, where's that coming from?
Mhm.
So I go to the window, and I vaguely, I kind of just catch something walking into the trees,
Oh wow.
but like these two shadows walking into these trees, and I kind of just went back to bed. Didn't really think about it. I was like, I'm just maybe somebody's walking up to that house on the private drive. A couple of nights later, heard it again. Boom, 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 boom. This time I booked it to the window, and same shadow goes into the same tree. I'm like, okay, I've got to catch this thing eventually.
Mhm.
because now I'm getting curious. So 2 nights later, heard the sound again. Ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-da-bum, ba-bum. And this time it was more drum solo. It was more ba-dum, 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 ba-dum. And when I got to the window, I saw 2 figures in Civil War garb in the
Wow.
gray. One was holding a rifle, the other one was playing the drums.
Oh.
And it walked right into the trees. So I went downstairs and I went outside to see what was going on. I literally like went downstairs, opened the front door, and I stepped on the front porch and I stopped because the third was standing on the front porch looking right down at me. And I just kind of froze like, okay, don't make any sudden movements. Don't say a word.
Mm-hmm.
Just creep back inside the house.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what I did. I went back inside the house, locked the door, engaged the deadbolt, threw my dad's good toolbox in front of it, a kitchen chair,
Mm-hmm.
ran into the living room, and I threw 2 blankets over top of me
Dang.
and stayed there until sundown. And when we moved I was about like maybe 6 to 8 months later, I asked the landlord about it, and he said, "Oh yeah, this used to be a Civil War battlefield. There were like, I think it was like 80 or there was a big number of the South that were ambushed on that hill."
Man.
Yeah.
Dang.
You must have had a lot of activity living on.
Oh yeah.
That must have been some energy, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because after that, I never went after another ghost. I never just went down. I was just like, okay, I'm not supposed to see it. They're doing this. Leave them alone. Give them
Mm-hmm.
their peace and quiet. Leave them. Don't bother them.
Yeah. Wow.
I actually understand that because that's how the spirits are here. Is one
Yeah.
thing I had to get used to when I moved to Japan is you see shadow figures just standing and staring at you,
Yeah.
which
Especially
I was
around
never
where
used.
you.
Yeah, I was
wh-
never used to back in the States. Usually,
Yeah.
you see a shadow figure in and out, or it darts, or you think you see it in front of your eye, but then you finally see it like in a photo. Here in
Yeah.
Japan, they are not afraid to stand and stare at you. The first
Really.
time I saw one,
Huh.
Yeah.
luckily I was walking my
Especially.
dog because I thought I was going insane. Because it was like it was on the other side of the road, and I'm just like, "Is this real?" I'm looking around, thinking, "There's no way this is I'm in reality right now. There's no way I'm seeing this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm losing it. Am I dreaming? What's going on?" But
Mm-hmm.
luckily, like I said, I had my dog, and she started reacting to it as she would at the time when she saw a person, where she has to go sniff it, sniff the person. Everyone on the planet Earth is obviously put here to pet her, to her. So she wants to go investigate. So she's reacting like she saw an actual person. She always reacts differently when she sees people compared to anything else. So I'm like, all
Hmm.
right, my dog sees this. It's there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those things I now am so used to, and I just see them staring at me. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people are just like, how come you don't take a picture? How come you don't want to go talk to it? And I'm like, because they all tell me they don't want to. They don't want me to take a picture. They don't want to
Mm-hmm.
talk to me. The only reason why they're showing themselves is to tell me this is my little area. You stay on the other side, and if you have to come near this area,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you know what, I'm good. They have occasionally like appeared in my apartment.
Mm-hmm.
Like my dog will start barking, and she'll run out, and I'll go see what she's barking at. I see a shadow person just kind of there, but they just leave soon after I see it. It's a warning of don't mess with my boundaries because I can always come in your apartment. I'm always like, I wasn't going to. You don't want to talk to me? Cool, I'll leave you alone. You don't need to take a photo? I won't.
Yeah. Her
I'm
area.
not. Yeah, I'm like I'm not crazy enough to upset
Yeah.
anything in a paranormal. I'm not.
No.
Because if you get upset with me, Yeah, I'm just. I'm not. I'd rather not.
Her
I'd rather
area
just. I'll just
is
exist with you. That's fine.
where she lives is a really dark. There's a lot of dark things that happened on that side of Japan. So
Huh.
I'm in Nagasaki, which is the very south of Japan.
yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, to the right of me, I have not too far is the Nagasaki bombing site,
Mhm.
and then just north of me, a little bit further, is the Hiroshima bombing site. So that's why
Huh.
we have a lot more tragic ones than Irene and Tokyo will have more of the ones that ended their
Unalive,
life.
unalive yourself.
Yeah, we're trying to keep it social media friendly because unfortunately Facebook
Man,
and everyone wants to be like,
yeah.
"Oh, you're supporting unaliving because you mentioned it in a podcast." Like, no, we
Nope.
don't support it.
Nope.
But it's paranormal, so and especially in Japan, it does come up.
Yeah.
Oh
Can't
yeah.
help it.
And mine is more darker. Hers is
Hmm.
more tragic on her side. So you'll
Huh.
find a lot more. You'll find a lot more like shadow figures on her side than on our side. Our side is more like really creepy kind that you don't want to get involved with. Her side, like, don't you dare come near me, or don't you dare talk to me, or see, I'm gonna be here. You don't like it, you can go blank yourself, right? That's how they
And
act
there's
on
no
her
rhyme
side.
or reason why they select a little area. They just select
Yeah.
a little
Yeah.
area. No, this is my
Yeah.
little area. It's not like they had anything to do with it during their life or anything, but it's just I don't.
Oh,
They just decided this is my little area, and I just will be left alone.
okay. Okay.
You're
You're
like, okay,
fine. You know.
cool. I'm not gonna ask you any further questions.
Yeah.
I will. I will just keep
No.
my own business.
I treat the ghosts in my house like I treat anybody else. You know,
Mm,
I actually locked my bedroom door one time when I was sending a voice message to a friend of mine who lives in England,
mm-hmm.
and my bedroom door locks from the inside. It's
Mm-hmm.
sturdy. Okay, it
Mm,
you can't. It takes a lot to even shake the door. And I was trying to do that voice message, send it off to her.
mm-hmm.
That door came right open. And I'll just go off and go, okay, whatever you want, do it now, get it over with.
Mm,
Okay? Because I don't want you tearing up my place. I don't want you hurting anybody. You can live here if you want to, but just don't wreck the place and don't hurt us.
mm.
You know? I just kind of like meet them halfway.
Yeah.
So you create your own boundaries. You create boundaries. So
Yeah.
they have to. Yeah, I get that. And that's one thing that you have to do is create boundaries if you live in a place that's got something in it, right?
Oh yeah.
And people don't understand that you have to create boundaries. Yeah, I mean, that's why I was hearing your audio went up and it went down and all of a sudden went really weird.
Yeah.
That's okay. There's something going on in this house.
Oh yeah, like I said, I'll feel a cold hand on my shoulder.
Mm,
I'll get like a cold chill once in a while. I go, oh boy, okay, something's, and I know who it is.
mm-hmm,
It's my dead loved ones.
mm-hmm, mm,
It's my mother coming to see if I'm okay.
mm-hmm. Yeah, she is prominent in your home.
Yeah, she is
Um,
above your
yeah,
left shoulder.
yeah,
Yeah,
Well, for us looking right, your left
yeah,
yeah,
above the DC part.
yeah. She she was a strong person, wasn't she? Right?
she had her ways where she was stubborn in some things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
you had to really like, mom, you cannot have this. You've got to do this.
Mm,
You can't do it like that. You got to do this. Well, I want to do it my way. Well, mom, you can't have it your way.
mm,
She was very stubborn,
yeah.
and like I said, she would. I mean, I would just kind of feel like a cold chill on my shoulder, going, okay, whoa, okay, Mom, I'm good. Everything's okay here. Go check on Madison and Gavin. Go check on your grandchildren. You know, just don't scare them, but just go check on them.
Yeah.
And my mom was also one of them people that she made sure you were fed. She made sure you had whatever you needed, no matter what it. Yeah. If you came over to my house and said, "Hey, I'm a little low on food. Here's my pantry. Go take your go get what you need from my pantry." She was always a giving person.
Yeah.
And I mean, but I can tell when it's her, though. I can tell when it's her.
Mama probably had rules too, because she's also saying, I may be giving, but also I could whip your butt if you didn't listen to me. That's what she said. Tell him that I could whip your butt if you didn't
Well,
listen
I've had
to
a picture fall down. I've had,
yeah.
I've had a picture fall. Let's see what else. Yeah, my phone's flown off the table. I'm just watching YouTube, and all of a sudden it just. Okay, I guess I won't watch that.
Videos.
I guess I'm not gonna do that. She's
Okay,
saying,
I guess I won't watch the highlights of that NFL game. I'll watch it later.
Moms, they did not like football.
she's saying, you know what she just said to me? Well, he ain't doing his chores, so I just said, no, you can't watch that. Tell him to do his chores. Tell him to wash the dishes. You gotta take out that garbage. That's what she's saying. That was Mama. I guess that was Mama, right?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Stop that. I'm just telling my cat. He's running around.
So, Amanda, what's your favorite movie?
I'm trying to think. Oh. I'm trying to think if I even seen anything scary lately. I've been watching because obviously this is also why I love October, is you get all the scary movies, obviously, the streaming ones. Recently, I watched Jennifer's Body, but that was a what did I just watch film.
Yeah.
Like, I was warned it was bad, but it's one of those things where I'm like, I still want to watch to decide for myself. I kind of wish I didn't, because I'm like, what?
Yeah.
This doesn't make sense.
Sometimes you wish you didn't watch it, right?
Yeah. I think one movie that still holds up, but it was the first one I've watched. Well, technically, the first one I ever watched was The Sixth Sense, but I don't really consider that my first because my parents were with me, so they were covering my eyes by what they thought might be a scary scene coming up. But the one I actually seen where no one was covering my eyes, I could actually watch the thing, was 13 Ghosts.
Oh, that's a good one.
It is. It still holds up to me to this day. I don't really find it scary. The only thing that really scares me, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, is like I want to say the character is called the Jekyll.
Yeah, the one that's got the cage around its head.
Yes.
Yeah.
That character give me nightmares.
I remember seeing the Blair Witch Project in the theaters when it first came out.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that.
Because of how that was filmed. For the longest time, everyone always assumed it was real. Like, oh, it was real footage. You see how they filmed it? I'm just like, it wasn't.
Yeah, my dad thought it was real.
It was low budget, and it's just they made a crap ton of money on it, and they just kind of went with it.
That was like, I think I saw that twice, and I saw it with my brother, his fiance, myself, and my sister went to go see it, and we were like, what the hell did we just see? Like, whoa. And then right after my brother and his fiance broke up, we went to go see it again.
Mm-hmm.
And there were these I want to say they're like defensive linemen for the college football team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's about maybe like 4 or 5 of them sitting there, and they're like, "Yeah, this movie's not. You know, people say it's scary, but I guess it's not." They're
Mm-hmm.
just kind of laughing about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know how they looked when they got out of that movie. You're talking these guys are probably 6'5", 6'7", 315, 20 pounds.
They're probably peeing their pants,
Sheets.
right?
They were just white as a ghost. And they just felt like they just walked out of a nausea room. It's like, yeah, that was scarier than, yeah. I'm sitting there just kind of like,
Okay.
you guys got scared. I was kind of like a little bit laughing at them, but yet I was like, I feel their pain because I felt the way when I first saw that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, thank God we live in the city and not out in the country.
Mm-hmm.
With the Blair Witch, though, how the one thing that the reason also why it has more of a realistic feel to it is they didn't tell the actors what was going to happen, so the
Yeah,
reaction to all the noises was
Mm-hmm.
real because they
yeah,
were just told, "Hey, you're gonna film this movie. Just stay in character. You're just gonna go camping in the woods for a couple of days." That's all they knew.
yeah,
So they did not know anything else when they went to the woods. So everything else, they did not know what was coming up next. That's why.
yeah,
So they did that so they could have more of a realistic.
yeah.
So it's
I
not.
yeah, I heard Jordan Peele talking about it, and he said, and I guess there was a one of the directors or somebody said that the scene where they're running through the woods after the
Mhm.
tent's shaking,
Mhm.
okay, and all you see is Heather's back, like one of them's
Mhm.
holding the black and white camera.
Mm-hmm.
I guess there was a scene where the camera was supposed to tilt to the left, and you
Mhm.
were going to see a figure in a white gown
Mm.
with like, yeah, and they're like, no, 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 let's not have that. Let's take it out. Let's just not put her in it. And I think
Mm.
that's what made it more scary and what made it more realistic, because you
Mhm.
didn't really need to see her.
Mhm.
You know she was, you know she's the forest. She cursed that forest.
Mm.
We don't really need to see her because she's everywhere.
Mm.
You know, I mean, from the pictures that we saw, we know what she looks like.
Mm.
You know, and I don't think that I'm glad that we didn't get to see her. You know, that we were left to our imagination. Like, is she
Yeah.
a tree? Is she the woman in the picture with the spiky hair? You know, we were left to our imagination, and I like movies like that that leave it to your imagination.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
know about what it
Spoiler
is.
alert, right?
Yeah,
It's better that way.
yeah,
You don't need to see everything.
Yeah.
uh, they don't make movies like that anymore. You know that. It's just there hasn't been a good one since. Like remember the oldies? Like the oldies were the best ones, right? And the new ones, what happened, right? I don't
yeah.
even think. I don't even think they made a good one since then, right?
I
Like,
watched that New Salem's Lot.
mm-hmm.
Wow, thoroughly disappointed.
Uh,
Thoroughly
really?
disappointed. I mean, if you watch the one with David Soul,
Yeah.
that's that one's good.
Mm-hmm.
That one's about as best as you're gonna get.
Mm-hmm.
But this one here, like, because I watched the original one yesterday, and that thing
Mm-hmm.
was like 3 hours and 3 minutes long. I forgot
Mm-hmm.
how long it was. I was like, okay, I'm in for a ride.
Mm-hmm.
And this new one was cut down to an hour and 54 minutes.
Okay.
So it's kind of like, so all the scenes that, like, this thing was cut
Mm-hmm.
too much. Okay, it was cut way too much. And when they said that we were going to get this, I'm like, okay, we're going to get a real Barlow. Because if you read the book, Barlow doesn't look like that in the book. Like, how can I say this? Have you ever seen the TV show What We Do in the Shadows?
I think so.
I haven't.
Nandor. Nandor is the best description of Barlow that I could possibly give.
Mm.
Yeah, he was more debonair, aristocratic. He had a very, suave Romanian voice.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, okay, we're finally going to get a new Barlow, but I'm there going.
It wasn't that good, right?
It was the same one.
Mm.
It was the same one,
Wow.
but it was mostly CGI, and I'm going. Yeah.
Disappointment, right?
I mean, give it a try if you've never watched it, watch it. Just so you can say that you've watched it and you're like, yeah, Brian was right. Yeah.
Now I know with the Paranormal Activity movies, they were low budget because of that first one. It was
Oh
more
yeah.
indie film festival that ended up in a big screen, and they said their budget was $3,000, I believe,
Yeah. Yeah.
and they
Actually,
made millions.
it got up to I was watching it's a channel on YouTube called Minty's Comedic Arts.
Mm-hmm.
And he tells you like 10 things that you didn't know about it. And the budget got up to about, I think, like just with it went from 3 to 15,000 somehow.
Wow.
But they
Yeah.
still made millions, yeah.
But they still made millions out of it. I think it made like 200. It made more than $200 million.
Yeah, because the girl in the first one actually sued to try and get more money because she said she was only paid $500 to be in the movie. So then when it started making millions, she's like, I'm not seeing any of that. She
Yeah.
lost because she had a valid contract that said you're only going to get paid $500. Doesn't matter what happens to it afterwards, how much money it makes. This is what you get. That's all you get. So she never
Wow.
saw any of that. Yeah, I remember hearing
Huh.
that 'cause she was quite upset. That might have been why you didn't really see her in any of the other movies. It was just like,
Yeah.
and I understand. She felt screwed over. She's like, yeah, I got paid $500. You made millions off of me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
'Cause
luckily, whoever made the movie
yeah.
was just like, we have a contract. We don't have to give you more. And they
Yeah.
won.
Because Stephen King, he used to sell some of his, he used to call them dollar babies.
Mm-hmm.
And they were short stories where you just throw $1 in an envelope, send it to them, and say, "Hey, I want to do a short film out of One for the Road, or I
Mhm.
want to do one for Children of the Corn, or
Mhm.
something like that." And you just pay him $1, and he'd say, "Okay, go ahead."
Mm.
But now I think this year he stopped it. He was like, "Yeah, no more dollar babies. Yeah,
Mm.
you guys come to me. You got to come to me with more than $1."
What has been your favorite scary movie to watch?
Well, so far I'd have to say the first I'd have to say my favorite scary movie would have to be the original Night of the Living Dead.
Mm.
Okay.
Love that. My scariest one would have to be Kingdom of the Spiders with William Shatner,
Mm.
because that used to be on cable TV and I loved it.
Mm.
Loved it. I mean, I was just, being afraid of spiders, kind of figure I wouldn't watch it, but yeah, I watched it.
Mm.
And but this year alone, I'd have to say wow, there's a lot of them I watched this year.
Mm.
I'd have to say if you like folk horror,
Mhm.
The Witch is not bad. Hereditary is really good. Midsommar's really good.
I've seen
Mm.
Hereditary. I don't know. It's supposed
Yeah,
to be in the top 10. I don't. It's good, but I don't know if it's top 10 scary
yeah,
movies. All scary movies good to me.
yeah. Midsommar was freaky. Um, I was greatly surprised by Evil Dead Rise.
Mm.
I was greatly surprised by that. I was like, that's probably just another,
Mm.
another Evil Dead movie,
Mm-hmm.
But I went and seen it, and I was like, damn, that's actually good. That's actually good. They did a good job with that.
Did you throw your popcorn all over the place?
No.
Were you able to keep your drink down? you some
So I
movies
didn't
you.
think about this, but I remember. So as I said earlier, I grew up. All my friends were watching My Little Pony. I was watching Are You Afraid of the Dark? So I was already watching scary stuff. But then I never thought about this. My friends who would not watch Are You Afraid of the Dark, they just thought it was too much for them, watched the original Willy Wonka,
Mm-hmm.
and that gave them nightmares. Some of them for a couple weeks, some of them for a month, some for a few months. And I never understood why until I finally broke it down. And I'm like, maybe it's because it's so tame compared to what you might watch. And I'm like, oh, I never actually thought about that way. Like the river, getting sucked up into a tube,
Yeah.
get thrown down a hole with the squirrels, blowing up
Oh
in a
yeah.
balloon.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, Irene, the theory behind Willy Wonka is actually the whichever I don't remember which brother it was the Weasley twin that was still alive
Mm-hmm.
supposedly grew up and became Willy Wonka.
Hmm.
That's the theory
Huh.
because they said the Weasley brothers made their own candy in the way the original Willy Wonka, especially the way he walked and the way he portrayed himself, was very similar to that Weasley twin. I can't remember which one it was.
Huh.
Mm. Interesting.
Everyone has a theory on everything, though. It's funny how it just theories work out in movies.
Oh yeah.
I didn't think it was scary, that one. I never thought it was scary.
I didn't think it was scary either, but other people said it gave me nightmares.
The
Mm.
boat ride was pretty intense.
Imagine,
I say this
like,
now, watch this, but if I was in that boat ride, I don't know. Maybe I'd feel the same.
gotta gotta get some anti-nausea medicine when you're on a boat.
It's not just
Yeah.
that, but isn't that when you first meet the Oompa Loompas, like start singing their first song?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Of course, they remade it to one with something else that kind of changed it. Actually, didn't they remake it twice? Yeah, they remade it twice. I didn't see the last one.
No, they did a remake. Tim Burton did a remake of it with Johnny Depp, but I think that Timothy Chalamet,
Yeah.
he was the prequel. He was in the prequel.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay, I
Yeah.
remember there was another one. I'm like, I don't even remember what the third one is, but I don't know why they made a third one. Why they made a remake of a third time.
Did you watch many Stephen King movies?
I have in the past.
What was your
I
favorite?
think no, I'm like I can't remember. And now I'm thinking for someone M Night Shyamalan. That for some reason I was thinking of Village, but like no, that's M Night Shyamalan. I think I can't remember. Have you ever seen any Irene?
Shining
What?
was the only one that I liked.
Shining. Okay, I was like, I can't think of names. This always happens to me on podcasts. I can never think of any names. And then afterwards, I'm like, oh crap, it was all these names. I'm gonna remember this next time. The next podcast, I'm like, what was I just thinking of?
I grew up with Silver Bullet, Firestarter. I think what else? Man, Pet Cemetery.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's another one.
Yeah.
I remember that one came out. My mom rented it. Did not think anything about to see with Gage.
Mm.
Did not think about it. She was like, "Oh boy, I should have watched this one before I let the kids watch it."
Yeah, you're right. Pet Cemetery
There was
wasn't that
another
bad.
movie that recently came out. You're either gonna love it or you're gonna hate it. But it's
Yeah,
called Willy's Wonderland.
yeah.
Yes.
That's
Have you seen it?
yeah.
What do you think of it?
I think it's good. I like how it added some humor to the situation, where he's playing pinball 1 minute and then like the next minute he's right back out
Yeah,
there.
yeah. So Nicolas Cage, because that budget was only 5 million, but everyone's like, "Oh, I bet Nicolas Cage saw a bunch of it." Nicolas
Mhm.
Cage actually made a deal with them. He didn't. He's
Mm.
like, "I will not take a cent of the money if you let me portray this part the way I want to." The way he wanted to was, he's like, I want to challenge myself. I want to act, but I also want to see if I can pull off acting without using any words. And
Yeah,
that's how his character developed to what you see then. I do find
Mm.
it funny because I feel like they do take some memes of veterans and kind of go with it. Like you can tell he's a veteran by the dog tags, which is
yeah,
usually army.
yeah,
He was obviously a combat veteran the way he fought, but also I think that the reason why I also say they probably took some memes is the way he drank energy drinks like there was nothing, like it was
yeah,
water.
yeah,
Like he had a bunch of them in his car. You saw him in the movie, throughout the movie. He kept drinking them, especially every break. But it's funny
Mm.
because there's also the same time. It's like they're so loyal to, no matter what. Even when he knows even when he figured out what was going on, he was so very. I still have a job to do, no matter what. That he
Mhm.
kept
yeah,
doing his job, cleaning up this place, even though he, these animatronics are coming to life, fighting him.
yeah,
He's
Mm.
just like, I'm still. He just goes back to cleaning like it was nothing.
yeah,
Because I still have to finish this task, which is a lot of veterans. But
yeah,
also at the same time, there was a scene, and you know what I'm talking about, where there's about to be a fight scene. His alarm goes off to tell him it's break time. He hands the knife to the girl, and he walks off and goes takes his break, and then he comes back and finishes the fight.
yeah,
He's like, at that time when his break time, he's like, not my problem. You got my break. Even the girl's like, what?
like
That's
I said,
interesting.
it had some humor mixed in with the with the whole horror aspect of it, because these animatronic things are coming alive, and you know you're like, okay, he's gonna actually take a break and leave that poor girl with the knife and that.
That kid in that kid in the arcade scene, he
Mhm.
deserved it. I'm like, you're stupid.
Yeah,
I like, don't be afraid. I'm nice. Okay, I'm here. I'm like, kid, why? You don't ever trust someone, a villain. Like, but I'm nice. All right, I'm, I'm not.
Like, just nothing like the old ones. I think the old ones make the best movies. I, you know, new ones have a lot to be desired for. It's not like what it used to be, right? I think, like you were talking about Salem's Lot. Yeah, I wanted to see that one, but now I'm thinking, maybe not. You know,
like I said, it's got a good. You can see where a lot of it had been edited. Like he had
mm,
mentioned, like I did a 3 hour version of this,
mm-hmm,
but they made him cut it down to an hour and 54 minutes, and I'm like, see, that's why these old movies
mm-hmm,
they don't they don't get enough time because you got Hollywood going, this is too long, cut it down. Well, no, it's not. I mean, we have to have this scene in. We have to have this scene in there. We got to have this one in there.
Yeah. They
And
just
I guess it took them hell in a handcart to get this movie done because it was supposed to come out in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Then it was supposed to come out in 2021,
Mm.
and then COVID hit,
Mm.
and that backed it up 2 years, and that cut it off for like 2 years.
Mm.
And then there were injuries, and then they said, you know what, we're just gonna. There was rumors that they were just gonna shelve it and get the tax returns out of it.
Mm.
But they're like, no, we got to put this movie out, so we're just going to put it on Max.
Mm.
And a lot of people liked it. A lot of people were like, I guess, you know,
Mm.
they kind of like they know that there was more to it,
Mm-hmm.
and some really good stuff was cut out. So I hope they do get to release the 3 hour version. Maybe
Yeah.
that one there would have been a lot better, you know,
Yeah. I
because
mean,
Doberman, because you know Gary Doberman, the guy who did that, he
mm-hmm.
did a wonderful movie. He did Annabelle Comes Home,
Mm.
and that was a good movie.
I never saw that one. Did you, Amanda?
Something I'll have to look up though.
Mm. Gotta look up that one.
A lot of jump scares.
Mm.
Yeah,
You gotta love movies with jump scares though.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
What was your scariest movie that you've ever seen that really, oof, like, okay.
I don't want to say it wasn't a horror movie. You kind of
Mm.
said it was a fantasy,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a movie called Beastmaster with Mark Singer.
Mm. Okay.
And there's a scene in it where he cuts this guy off of a stone altar. And there are these creatures that are surrounding the stone altar, and they're like this here. They've
Mm.
got noses and eyes, but they got no mouths, and they're like probably like maybe 6'4", 6'5".
Mm-hmm.
And he tells this guy, he goes, run, don't look back. You
Mm.
know they're gonna look back.
Of course. Of
And this
course.
creature wraps him up inside of its
Mm.
wings and does this like belly dance.
Mm-hmm.
And when he opens his arms again, you see the guy's clothes and his bones, but you don't see his flesh.
Ooh.
And my grandma used to wear caftans.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a nightmare where she went and gave me a hug, and her caftan started turning into the wings of that creature. And it scared me as a kid. And I mean, like, I would watch the movie for the longest time. I was like, no, I cannot watch that part. And I saved that creature
Mm-hmm.
later on for my novel Consuming Darkness.
Mm.
I looked it up to see if it was real. I was like, I got to make sure this is real, because if I use this creature without permission, I'm in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And they call it a winged devourer. It's a non-alien creature that
Mm-hmm.
once it wraps its wings around you,
Mm-hmm.
it'll press its mouth onto your head, and it'll secrete this acid that softens your flesh and makes it consumable. Now, it can't take your bones, your clothes, or the items in your pocket.
Mm.
And I'm like, you know what? I got to do this now. I got to do this creature feature. I need to do this. So I just went with it.
That's interesting.
I grew up in a place. So obviously, like I said earlier, I grew up in Michigan. Near my hometown was the site that gave the inspiration for Jeepers Creepers. It was
Oh,
supposed to be an actual thing that happened where it was an old schoolhouse at the time. They saw, or an older couple both said they saw what looked like the Jeepers Creepers creature flying over and into it, which
hmm.
kind of gave them the inspiration for the Jeepers Creepers movie.
Huh.
I did ask some people who still live around there. One person lives down the street. One person said that she lives so close that she can actually see it from one of her windows. That building still standing.
Wow.
But I always ask them, like, do you ever see people try to, given the history, sneak in? And they said, I personally haven't, but maybe. I was like, maybe also those people could be parking on a street. Who knows? It was actually, and they told me what happened to the building was it became owned by the Amish.
Hmm.
Huh.
So they used it as like a barn. And then they had to close it up because of obviously with its reputation. This is why we cannot have nice things, especially in the paranormal community. People started graffitiing it, so
Huh.
they had to like board it up. It's probably because people were sneaking in, especially at night. But
Huh.
it just makes me sad.
Wow.
Yeah. It is sad when something like that happens, right?
But it was private property. It was and I think still is. They said owned by the Amish. Like I said, it became their barn. They used it as a barn, but unfortunately now they have to close it up. And now there was graffiti on it. They might have cleaned it up, but unfortunately, people are going to go back and still graffiti it.
Oh yeah.
Does it still stand even to this day,
It's
Amanda?
still standing. Yeah, that's what they said. It's still there. Because I recently asked them. Because I'm like, I have to know in case it comes on my podcast. I want to be able to actually ask. And they're like, yep, owned by Amish, still there. Now it's no longer a working barn for them. They had to close it up. I'm like, I have to assume that's the reason why they closed it up.
Wow. Huh.
They just said now it's closed up. I'm like, yeah, people had to be sneaking in there with its reputation.
Mm. I'm wondering if there is really any paranormal activity in that barn.
I don't know. It's because no one actually really knows. Because like I said, now it's boarded up.
Mm.
I would
We'll
love to
never.
see that though, but yeah, it was unfortunately a working barn until unfortunately people ruined it.
Imagine the energy that it has because it made a movie in that place. Because once you make a movie in a certain area,
Well,
it
I don't
just,
know they made a movie in it, but it was the inspiration for the story.
mm,
Because I
Hmm.
don't think they're gonna go to Bronson, Michigan to make a movie.
mm,
People still go around Amityville.
yeah,
Yeah, and it's one of those things. This is why the owners unfortunately said they had to build a build a huge gated fence because people would just not leave them alone, and the people who own it, I guess, either own it you who used to own it or still own it said they're not into the paranormal. They never had anything happen. They just want people to leave them alone.
mm,
Unfortunately, given the reputation, people will not leave them alone. That's why they had to have the fence. But
See,
people
there were
still
some
try to ask
people.
them, "Can I come?"
Somebody. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, they said people still try to ask them if they can come and take pictures in their house.
Let's see. Somebody had said that it was for sale.
yeah. I heard
Yeah,
that
that's what
one.
I said. It was owned? They probably got sick and tired of everything. They were getting sick of people because
Yeah, I don't blame them.
they said people will not leave alone. Unfortunately, the same thing with some of the other movies too. Obviously, this is not a scary movie, but Halloween Town on Disney.
Yeah.
That was actually there's the filming locations. It's still privately owned. The
Mm,
owners had to put a sign out saying, "Don't get on the property. It's private property. Do not knock on the door. Leave us alone."
Yeah.
mm,
And people still go up to Burkittsville, go in the woods up there, and try to look for her. And it's like, guys, don't go in there. It's not for us. Don't go in there. We're not allowed in there. She doesn't want anybody in there.
yeah.
She's like an old man. Get off my lawn.
Also, I feel sorry for the people who love the location, buy it, find out its history, and usually, like I said, I mean, they're like, "I don't believe it," whatever. The people still bother them because it's that famous house.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad because because you just want to live in peace, right? And then
Yeah.
you get all these people taking pictures or driving by real slow and bothering them, and you just can't do it anymore.
Well, they even remodel some of the Amityville house, so this is also like, why do you keep bothering us?
Yeah.
Because they
And
on
the
the
owners are
top
just like, there's nothing here. We'd never experienced anything.
They
on the
probably had
top.
it exercised. They
Yeah,
probably
I
had
probably
somebody
did.
go in there and had it blessed.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because I got Bibles and I got a few crosses in my house. Maybe that's why the ghosts are not so mean.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I do feel bad for those people though, because they're just like trying to live their life, but everyone's
everyone's bothering them, right?
yeah. Well, at the same time, as I always say, you gotta be careful because let's say it was blessed, exercise, everything's gone, no longer haunted.
Mm.
Unfortunately, because of its history, I think that's also why they had to
Yeah.
board it up. But a lot of it's with the history. A lot of people still want to do seances or spells in that location, thinking it's because the reputation obviously is still it probably still has some of the energy, and
Mhm.
I think they just open portals and
Yeah.
invite some
Yeah.
new in if they're not back to being haunted. Probably maybe not by the original thing, but you open a new gateway or you invited something else in.
Yeah.
Because there's even haunted locations will say like, yeah, one of our rules is no seances, but then we find people break it. I'm like, I
Mm.
feel that's
Yeah.
the way for a lot of these famous haunted houses, even though nothing is there anymore. People are still bothering them, still using it for their
Yeah.
seances or spells or whatever they're doing.
There have been people that go in the ridges and they will like just walk through there and like it's like, no, you guys, my, couple of my friends and I went up there and I walked up to the front door and I could literally on the front stoop, I could feel all the energy inside that house.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, we're not wanted, guys. We need to go.
Mhm.
Okay, this is not the alcohol talking. This is the energy in the house talking. We need to
Mhm.
go.
Mhm.
No, they didn't want to listen,
Mm.
so they got scared. They got scared away.
Mm. Some places are like that. They just it's like invading their privacy, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
And you don't want to do that.
You got to have respect for the dead.
Yeah,
even
cuz
if it's not privately owned, it does make me angry when I see people
Yeah,
graffiti these places.
yeah.
I'm like, this is why we cannot have nice things in a community if people like you
yeah,
are coming in and ruining them.
Yeah.
yeah. Because you kind of feel like they're going to turn it into a bed and breakfast. Hmm. Why would you want to
Okay.
turn it? Why would you? Yeah. I mean, that's just what I heard that they're going to turn it into a bed and breakfast, or they're going to turn it into like a tourism site.
Like,
Because that
mm,
already, you don't have to advertise for it. It kind of already advertises for itself. So
Yeah.
you
So
do that.
I'm like,
If you,
why would you want to take people through this house to begin with? You know?
because people still will pay the money to do it. And then, I mean,
Yeah.
if you make money off of it, you're going to do it. Because, like I said, you can charge a bunch of money, and it's also going to advertise itself. People are going to spend the money just to
Yeah.
stay.
I just don't understand why would you want to turn it into an insane asylum, turn it into a hotel? Why would
Yeah.
you? Like, really? You?
I mean,
Yeah.
you guys would be like, I'm there. You
Well,
guys would
that
be like, I'm
depends,
there.
right? That depends, right? That depends, right?
It's a bed and breakfast.
Yeah, that depends, right? Amanda, would
The
you go if
problem
you
with
would?
that is there's a lot of people who think they know what they're doing,
Yeah.
and they don't. They start opening
Yeah.
more portals. Like there's a lot of people who see the Ouija board movies, assume because of the movie they already know everything, and start messing with things they don't,
Yeah.
and then that's when things get real.
Yeah.
Or like, I
That's
saw this seance on TV or in this movie, so I already know how to do it based on watching this. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, it's like, you don't.
no, you don't.
Because
No.
I always like when I watch Paranormal Activity,
Mm-hmm.
I wanna throw something at Mika for using the Ouija board. You're only gonna anger this thing.
Yeah.
And every time I see somebody mess with a Ouija board in a supernatural movie, I'm going, you know what? Whatever happens, you deserve it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You deserve it. You're just gonna make it angrier.
Yeah. Or you're
You
gonna
know?
unleash something that you didn't expect, and if you unleash it, you gotta put it back, and you gotta close the door.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, but a
people,
lot of people don't know how to do that. That's also going back to what I'm saying is people assume they know what they're doing, but they don't.
yeah. But then a lot of people say, "Oh, it's just a tool. Using a Ouija board, it's just a tool."
It's just a,
Right.
and the thing is, they have them in the board game aisles and stores.
Yeah. Even the
And
children's section, they have them too, right?
yeah, I know. One day I was walking through going,
They're starting to make
really?
them more appealing, though. There's Barbie-looking ones. There's anything. They have cute-looking ones. You can actually go on Amazon, and there is a Jesus version.
Huh.
I thought it was
Gosh.
made up when I first saw this picture. I went to Amazon, and it's real. But you
Huh.
can find cute, pretty ones that's more appealing to like kids. Those are actually real because I've seen pictures. I'm like, no way, it's real. Barbie ones, real. Cute, pretty ones, real. Ones with kittens, real.
Why would you want to buy your kid a Ouija board, right? I
This
can't.
is eight. This 8 and up, Irene.
Yeah.
God.
It's 8 and up. 3 or up or 8 and up. One of those.
Like, I couldn't imagine. Okay, my kids are older, okay? But I couldn't imagine buying one for my child. Really?
My mom told us to this day. She goes, I don't care if you guys watch that kind of stuff. You know, if you want to do Bloody Mary, that's fine. She goes, but if I find out I catch you with one of those, you're gonna have a hard time walking. She
Oh,
hated those things, hated them, because she knew what they were, what they were, what they were capable of. She knew what they were. You know, this is not something that you play with.
I think
yeah.
also Irene, with it being more appealing to kids and they're trying to make it more cute and whatever looking, is a child can just go and buy it.
Mm,
You have enough allowance money, you can go buy it. The store cannot technically stop kids.
Yeah,
It's not alcohol where you have to be 21 or up with an ID to buy it. You can just buy it. It's like we were saying earlier. It's in the toy store, in the board game.
it's like, yeah.
The
I still
cashier
can't.
technically cannot be like, morally, I can't sell this. Legally, they kind of have to.
I still can't
That's why they're
con.
starting to make them look more appealing to kids in the way they look.
Yeah. Like, I couldn't. I can't wrap my head around getting one of them. What happened to our guest?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Like, is he still with us?
I'm here.
Okay.
Sorry,
Like,
sorry about
you're
that,
dark.
ladies.
You're
Oh, we just
you're
can't see you. Like, oh, did you peek
you're
out?
dark. What happened? Right? Oh dear. Like, that's why I hate certain conversations because it goes sideways, right?
I did a podcast interview. I think it was like um, Friday,
Mm-hmm.
and the internet just kept cutting out halfway through the interview.
Mm.
It went out like 3 times.
Mm.
Yeah,
That happens to us too.
I'm like,
Oh, well, so
okay,
do Irene. It usually happens to Irene. And I tell
Mhm.
people that it's funny because she'll get kicked out. And it happened, and I got so used to it that I just knew she was going to come back on. And I'm just like, I don't think anything of it. One time it happened, I was in the middle of telling a story, and it booted Irene. And the guest was like, oh. And I still kept going on telling the story, and they looked at me and they're like, wait, you're not concerned about her? No, she'll come back on. But after that, like you, there's Irene back up, like, oh yeah, you're right. Look, I told you. You're used to this. We'll be right back. Just as fast
It
as like, get back on.
it depends on what the conversation is out, what the story is about, the content, and how much paranormal it has in it. If it has a certain amount in it, and I start hearing voices right saying, "Yeah, we don't like this conversation. We don't like this," and they'll kick me out.
You're not gonna listen. We're not gonna listen with you.
And when it kicks me out, sometimes it takes me a while because I got to get back in again, right? Sometimes I can get back in. Sometimes I can't.
Usually you can,
Yeah.
just you're
And
like, no, leave it.
one time I couldn't get back in. I said, "Dang."
Anyways, everyone, we're gonna end it for tonight.
Yeah.
Brian, thank you so much for joining us. You're
Thank-
always welcome to come back so we can
Thank
do
you
part
guys
two.
for thank you
Yeah.
guys for having me on. I greatly appreciate it. I enjoy
Oh, we
talking
appreciate you
paranormal.
taking the time to be with us today.
Yeah.
Thank you
I
guys for
like
having
your
me on.
stories. Your stories are
Yeah.
really cool. You're gonna have to come back and tell us more stories about
Oh
what you
yeah.
know.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everyone out there, we'll see you next time. Bye for now. Thank you for
Thank you. Bye bye.
listening.